As students, here we are going to find out incident matrix for given graph. This is a graph given to us. This consists of V1, V2, V3, V4, four vertices, and E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, five edges. For this we have to make incident matrix. Now how to find out this? Now you write the incident matrix of the name is not given. Let I give the name for this graph is some G, you suppose. So incident matrix for G, how to find out this? First you write these vertices, that is V1, V2, V3, V4 in a perpendicular direction. Then the edges E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 in a horizontal way. Write these edges in a horizontal way. E1, E2, E3, E4, and last one E5. So I have written the edges in a horizontal way. Now I am making a graph matrix bracket like this. Now take vertex V1. How many edges are incident on this? E1 is incident on that. Edge E5 is also incidence. E4 also incidence on V1 or false on V1. So V1, the E1 is false on V1, so I am putting 1. E4 is also false on V1, I am putting 1. E5 also false on V1, I am writing 1 here. E2 is not false on V1 because E2 is false on V2 and V3 only, V2 or V3 only. So here 0. Similarly, V3 is not falling on V1, 0. Now come to all these edges false on V2. E1 is false on V2. E1 is false on V2. Then E2 is false on V2. So E2 is false on V2, 1. Then E3, no other vertices are false on V2. Therefore we have to put 0, 0, 0. Now come to V3. Okay. So in vertex V3 there are 3 edges falls on. E2 falls on V3, E5 falls on V3, E3 falls on V3. Therefore we have to put 1. E2 falls on V3, E2 falls on V3. E5 falls on V3, E5 falls on V3. Then E3 falls on V3, E3 falls on V3. For others they are not falling on V, therefore we have to put 0 here, 0 here. Now V4. Now come to this particular vertex. Only 2 edges are falling on V4. One is E4, another one is E3. E3 is falling on V4, therefore we have to put 1. V4 is falling on V4, therefore we have to put 1 here. For all other we have to put 0. So this matrix is called the incident matrix for this graph. So this matrix is called incident matrix for this graph. So I repeat again, this is the graph given to us. V1, V2, V3, V4 are the vertices. E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 are the edges. For this graph, we have to find the incident matrix. Therefore, incident matrix of G is, first we are writing the vertices in a vertical way, V1, V2, V3, V4. Then the edges E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 on the horizontal way. Now we have to see whether an edge is falls on a particular vertex or not. If falls on, we have to put 1. If doesn't falls on, then we have to put 0. Now E1 is falling on V1, therefore 1. E5 is falling on V1, therefore E5 is equal to 1. E4 is falling on V1, therefore we have to put 1 here. For other vertices, E2 is not falling on V1, E3 is not falling on V1, therefore 0, 0 we have to put. Now V2, E1 is falling on V1, V1 is falling on V2, E1 is falling on V2, so U1 is falling on V2 1. E2 is falling on V2, therefore 1. Then no other vertices are falling on V2. E3 not falling on, E5 not falling on, E4 also not falling on. Therefore, for others we have to put 0, 0, 0. Now V3, there are 3 edges are falling on, E2, E3, E5. For that only we are putting the E2, E3, E5 1. For the other we have to put 0. Here 1, 0, here 1, 0. The last one, V4. Only 2 edges are falling on V4. One is E4, another one is E3. So for E3 you put 1, for E4 to put 1, for others you are putting 0, 0, 0. And this is a way, if the graphs are given, we can find the incident matrix. Okay. Thank you very much.